What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. You made it. I think I'm a minute late, but whatever. We were talking, having fun before we went live. It is Friday. I am so excited. Welcome back. If you have been here before, if it is your first time, I am Lauren, and this is the Friday Live with Lauren show. I have a fun guest today. This is a guest that I tried to bring on the show last year and somebody that I chased a little bit. And when I found them in person this year, I stopped them and I shook their shoulders. I said, "You have to come on the show. I know that you have a lot to say and you have the energy and you're going to be great. And please, please, please come on." So without further ado, please welcome Blake Hudson in the house. What's up, Blake?
What's up, everybody? How you doing? Lauren, she absolutely did. You cornered me in Tampa, Florida. I had no options, no out other than to say yes and show up here months later.
I will tell you, I don't chase many people to come on the show. I think I've had a few people that I've had to really twist their arm. And I've only have one person right now who's a holdout, but it was difficult to get you to confirm. And I'm so excited you're here. And I know you're excited too.
I wasn't running from you. The problem is I don't know what I'm eating for dinner tonight. So the idea of planning a show like months out was just like daunting for me. I'm like, yeah, April, okay, like 2025, sure. And I never got around to actually making it happen. So shout out to you for finding me and shaking my shoulders.
100%. 100%. I had to make it happen. When you have something you want, you go after it. We're going to talk about that today, y'all. If you are watching, would you share the show? Did you get a notification that we are live? I did. Is LinkedIn being kind to me today? I don't know. I haven't said anything negative about them this week. So hopefully it's good. And while you're at it, comment where you are joining us from. I am in Boca Raton, Florida, filming out of this amazing studio. Thanks, Raina, for calling out my setup. I appreciate you when you called that out the other day. But where are you joining us from? Share the show. And Blake, could you give us a little intro about who is Blake Hudson?
I'm laughing at Elizabeth. We can help you plan dinner. I got some leftover spaghetti, but maybe we can do something more exciting than that. I think we can bring something together. Yeah, my name is Blake Hudson. I am a sales enablement leader at a company called Cloud Kitchens. If you're familiar with ghost kitchens, that's what we do. So it's like restaurant owners will rent out a kitchen space and they rent that from us. They operate their business. It's optimized for delivery. Fun stuff. I enable all of the account executives. I train them their first 90 days, coach them up, give them some tender love and care. And I love it. I love my job. A little bit of background. So how far do I go back? Before I got into sales, I had a couple other careers. Once was in politics. That's what I went to school for at the University of Illinois. And it was great. I learned a lot about politics, learned a lot about myself. I worked for a congressman, and then I also ran for state senate when I was 24. So that happened. And then I transitioned into higher education. So I was an admissions counselor. I was a consultant. I helped with recruitment and retention of minority students on campus. And that was very fulfilling, very rewarding because I got to help people, figure out who they are, what they want to do and why. And those are some really important questions for all of us to answer, let alone teenagers finishing up, high school and going into college. And then I got into sales because that admissions role was a sales job. I just wasn't getting paid like a seller. So I had to change that real quick and jumped into an SDR role at a fintech startup in Chicago. Very rewarding, very difficult, as you can imagine, making all the hundreds of dials, thousands of dials, tens of thousands of dials before I was able to finally get into, some AE roles. Then I went into management and enablement after that. So I've had experiences building and scaling SDR outbound teams. That was very rewarding because you're working with people who are young in their careers. And now I'm coaching AEs and onboarding them for the company I mentioned. And that's how I got here today. I talk about some stuff. I say things on the internet every now and then on LinkedIn, and that works too. Helps people like Lauren know I exist. So yeah, that's great.
Every now and then we say things on the internet
Just say
sometimes.
some stuff on the internet. It's bagels and bread.
I do have to tell you, there's a new ghost kitchen right by my house. And I was driving by the other day and I literally saw the sign and I was like, what is that? And I'm a very curious human being. So out came Google and immediately I was like, oh, it's a ghost kitchen. Oh, how much does it cost? Oh, oh.
Mhm.
And I was like, all the
Mhm.
wheels are turning in my head, y'all. But I think it's really exciting time for ghost kitchens. I think that's something that's great in the terms of sales. I love how you mentioned that you were in a role that was sales, but you weren't getting paid like a sales person. And a lot of people in their career realize that too late and they stay in a career for a long time where they could be getting paid like a salesperson, but they're not. So if you are watching today and you're wondering, like, maybe that's me, keep watching because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I want to really quick, I got to shout out Sendoso. They're our official gifting sponsor. We do have some fun prizes today. We're giving away some golf tees. If you are a golfer and you are watching, there's some golf tees from Sunday Golf. I'll throw that down and you can comment hashtag Sendoso to win. And then what's up, Better Leap? If you are a recruiter, Better Leap is a way that I source all of my candidates. They have a natural language model for sourcing that is incredible. So, Better Leap, thank you. And if you are a recruiter, send me a DM. We are going to have a call about Better Leap soon. All right. I know Liz said she can teach you how to make meatballs. I don't know if you like meatballs, but there you go. And she said that we can plan your dinner live. I don't know if you saw that part, but we could do it live. The fridge is behind you, and we could turn this into a cooking show. Just saying, not right now, but we could by the end. If we have nothing to talk about, maybe. Enablement for the win. Canada's in the house. And Liz says that you have to be friends. Destined.
She's got a similar background, so it sounds like yeah, we'll connect, Liz.
There you go. Happy Friday, Dallas in the house. What's up, Peter? Peter does some awesome audio events. Go check out Peter. And with that, we're going to jump into the first topic. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm trying to log in so I can actually contribute to the chat. I'm trying to do that real
Yeah,
quick.
good luck. It's so hard for me to do everything all at once. It's like I have all the blonde moments during the show.
There we go.
While you work on that, Tom Slocum, love you. Stop DMing me. You're distracting me too. Okay, how to choose confidence today is our first topic. And Blake, I think that this is a really important topic for sellers and for job seekers. We're going to talk about both. But I also want to talk about the fact that we hear a lot about fake it till you make it. So, what's the difference between choosing like true confidence and faking it till you make it?
Well, the first thing I want to do is just acknowledge that confidence is a choice, not a trait. A lot of people think confidence is something you're born with or you have to have innately. And that's not true. And the way we know it's true is because of examples like this. Think about people who are the first to accomplish something, pioneers. Um, we wouldn't have pioneers if confidence was something you were born with. It's something you have to choose. So that being said, how do you choose confidence? Well, one of the things is important to understand that confidence isn't going to look pretty. Confidence doesn't mean that you're going to go through something and not be scared. And understanding that confidence is something that grows. It's like a muscle, it grows over time. The fake it till you make it thing isn't necessarily a problem, and it's not at odds with the idea of choose confidence today. In a way, they're kind of intertwined. So, faking it till you make it is you putting yourself on display, trying to be and do something that you don't quite feel you are yet, or maybe you aren't yet. But the confidence is what gives you the ability to actually pursue that and do that. And so, I would encourage people to think deeply about who it is they want to be, the skills they want to acquire, and understand that growth comes from choice. Choice is a habit that we can make, and those habits that we make eventually become who we are as a person.
And I feel like most of the best growth for me comes from choosing the scary choices
Mm-hmm.
personally, right? And that's why that's such a muscle that's got to be built because most of the time it is something scary that we're looking at or that is that next thing. So choosing confidence is important in every aspect, especially when I talk to job seekers right now. When you're walking into a job interview, how important is it to come off as confident, even if it's maybe a topic that you're not 100% familiar with or something like that? Like, how important is that air of confidence when you're a job seeker?
Yeah. And I created a course, an interview course, about 90 minutes. So I'd be sure to plug that at some point in the conversation. Um, the confidence comes from this. You are an expert in you. A lot of times people want to be an expert in the product, the company, the person interviewing them, and you can research those things. But at the end of the day, you know you. And one of the things I try and help people with in my coaching practice is understanding their story and leaning into parts that maybe they didn't consider, or the parts that maybe are ugly. Because what happens is this: a story, it requires conflict. Without conflict, you don't have a story, you just have details, right? So with a story, you have three very simple things. You have a character who goes through some sort of conflict, who then is transformed. And when you're going through this interview process or even the job seeker process, you have to understand what your story is, and you can be confident in that. And then I go into detail about how a story is necessarily different from a message and getting your message across in an interview. So those are the things that give me confidence as a job seeker, and I've been there not too recently, not too long ago, and also give you confidence in your role.
Okay, how can people find your 90-minute course?
Yeah, I need to figure out where that link is. So if you
Okay, we're
go
gonna link
to,
it in the
yeah,
comments while we're live, so I'll let him work on that.
it's
What do
on
you
my LinkedIn.
recommend? Okay, it's on his LinkedIn. I
Yeah,
hope it's in your featured section. If
it
not,
is.
there we go. Let's do it. It's in the featured
It is.
section on his LinkedIn. Okay, how like what daily practices do you use to boost your own self-confidence, right? Like especially when you're in a high pressure sales role or a high pressure interview process, what are the daily things that you do or that people can do that will boost your confidence?
Daily habits to boost confidence. Lauren, I just messaged it to you because I wasn't able to comment in the chat.
Okay.
Let's see here. Mindfulness is one. Just really getting a good picture of where you are in the moment. So a lot of times with confidence, people think it lives in the future. Confidence is something I will do or I have to do then. And that's not necessarily the case. That's why something that people forget about this mantra of mine is today. Choose confidence today. It's a very now centric thing. So mindfulness is one. Some other practices, I journal a lot. Journaling is important because it allows you to externally process these thoughts. It allows you to acknowledge emotions like fear and doubt and insecurity. And the funny thing about fear is that as you shine a light on our fears, they become less daunting, they become less scary. And so being able to acknowledge those in real time, either through spoken word with a friend or written word with your journal, those are some practices that can help you as well. I'm trying to think of another one.
It's
Let's see.
it's interesting that you say journaling because just like you say spoken word with a friend or journaling, I think a lot of people who are working on confidence might not have the confidence to talk about it with a friend yet, but journaling could be a good stepping stone to that by writing down your feelings and being comfortable with your own feelings and comfortable how you feel and admitting how you feel. Maybe you'll be able to get to the point where you can talk to other people about that and move forward with that. I'll be the first person to say, like, y'all, therapy is amazing. If you're not in
Mhm.
therapy, if you're in sales, like, I don't care what you do, but especially if you're in sales, I think that it's a big part of being able to be confident and being able to talk about what's going on in your life and what you're experiencing. And your feelings are real and valid, and being confident and being scared are okay. Just like Blake said, like they can go hand in hand, but you got to push through that.
Yeah, becoming the idealized version of yourself as well is important. And to the point about therapy, I had my therapy session yesterday, and I also go to group therapy for my ADHD. Shout out to my neurodivergence out there. If you know, you know. But being able to understand who is this ideal version of yourself, and how do I become that person today? How do I move one step closer to becoming that person today? Is a really important concept as well.
Yes, and take action to be that person. Don't just talk about it, be about it, y'all.
Right.
Peter says confidence comes from getting the awareness, knowledge, and application through faking it until you make it. What do you think about that, Blake?
I love it. Um, that's what I was going to say about therapy. One of the things that I think therapy has helped me do is building this skill of acknowledging certain emotions and then reflecting on them and then reframing as necessary. So I'll give you an example. I take my girlfriend to work, and sometimes she works very, very early in the morning, far earlier than I want to start my day. And it makes me wake up with hatred in my heart, not towards her, towards her job. And then I have to sit with that emotion sometimes while I'm driving her to work. And then I have to reframe that emotion and say, you know what? I'm grateful she has a job. I'm grateful we have a car, that I'm able to take her to work, that she spends it with me and not some Uber driver. Like, okay, so I can acknowledge that I have this feeling. I don't beat myself up for it. It's just a feeling. It comes, it goes. And then you reframe that. And having that level of self awareness, that level of emotional intelligence, confidence is rooted in those sorts of skills. That's why I talk about what I talk about. There's a lot of, people on the internet talking about how to do sales, how to do a job search. There's not enough people talking about the whys behind them and some of the what we consider soft skills, which personally I think soft skills and emotional intelligence is what separates good sellers from great sellers. So, yeah.
Yes, for emotional intelligence. I always tell people, might not have the biggest IQ, but my emotional intelligence, let's go. Like
Mhm.
Liz says, 1% better every day. Yes, Liz. Michelle says, one of my favorite takes from Atomic Habits is changing how we speak about things from I want to be someone who works out in the mornings to I am someone who works out in the mornings. Michelle, this has been me lately. I am someone who works out in the mornings, and I've been working out in the morning. I'm so impressed with myself. I love that. The why. Yes, the why is so important, Andrew. Thanks for tuning in, Andrew. Always appreciate you showing up. Blake says confidence is a choice, not a trait. Y'all, you heard it here. Screenshot.
That makes me almost cry. I know I just wrote the quote, but like it makes me feel a little teary eyed because I hope it gives people hope and encouragement and empowerment that you too can grow this thing. You might not feel it today. You might not be there. You might not be this confident individual yet, but that's the key word is yet. And it's a choice that you can make. You can choose confidence. Like I'm going to choose to be as confident as I can be today. And maybe that doesn't look as confident for someone else as it does for me, but that's okay. It's a choice, not a trait.
100%. And like Liz said, 1% better in terms of confidence too, y'all. That's it. Just keep working every day. And this is the link, okay? Storytellinguniversity.com/ all that junk right there. Or go grab my
Copy paste.
comment.
Yeah, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile and it's right at it's that link that you choose.
And what's up,
Right in
Trevor
my
in
name.
the house? Relationship builders rule. Yes. Trevor, you are a master relationship builder. So coming from you, you know. All right. We're going to move into the second topic of the day. We're already pretty far into the show. All right. Let's talk about questions of identity in sales. So I'll let you take it away. But I just want to ask, like, do you have a lot of advice or like advice for people who are struggling really to understand their personal identity versus their professional identity?
I mean, I have tons of advice, whether it's good or not. That's what we're still trying to figure out. But I'll share some advice. When it comes to identity in sales, a lot of salespeople, we have this bravado. There's this persona of a salesperson that is confident. We just take charge and we get it done because we're helping, strangers give us money, right? Like what a wild concept. The reality is a lot of sellers get led by their customers and they do whatever the customer wants and they just find themselves almost like being dog walked by their customer. And I think a part of that comes from not knowing who they are as a seller, what their role is as a seller. True sales is helping someone understand the problem that they have and what the solution can be for it. And that requires you to take on a certain identity. And within that identity, it requires certain traits like active listening, traits like emotional intelligence and empathy, storytelling. These are all sorts of things that come about as an identity in sales. So when I talk to sellers or when I, am onboarding them, I try and help them understand like what role are you fulfilling? We start there. I can talk to you about objection handling all day, but if you don't really understand who you are, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish, again, you're going to get dog walked by your customer. And whether you're an SDR at the top of the funnel, the beginning of the sales journey, or an account executive closing deals, the truth remains, like, you have to really understand who you are and who you want to be as a seller.
Yes. And y'all, sales is sales. And I agree to some level, like anybody can sell. But we're talking about being an elite seller and really understanding why being a seller is actually improving somebody else's life and how you're doing that by solving this problem, right? I understand the problems that I'm solving as a recruiter and how to talk to people about that. But it's about being an elite seller. This is not just about, hey, I want to get a good fat commission check this month. Like, yes, we want to make a lot of money. We're in sales. Duh. But
Mhm.
it's about really getting to the bottom of the people that you're working with and
Right.
understanding that relationship. Because, y'all, there might not be a need for you in this moment, but there will probably be a need for you at some point. Build that relationship and get to the bottom of their issue, the root of their issue, help them in some way, provide value. And actually make yourself elite and then focus on the people who really do need what you're selling right now. I think that's one of the other things that I see people don't understand, like you're saying, what they really need to be doing. And they cast too wide of a net. And if they would hone in on a few people who are actually who they could sell to, they would make more money in sales too. But that's probably another topic.
Yeah.
Um, can you share an example? Because you've been in sales for a while, right? Can you share an example of a time when understanding your identity in a role helped you either close a deal or in a job interview, get a job? Can you speak to either job seekers or sellers about how understanding your identity as a seller in your role made you more successful?
Yeah, the short answer is how you present yourself. So if you don't understand who you are, it's really difficult to present yourself in the way that's most compelling for you. And what ends up happening is a lot of sellers revert to a version of seller that they were told they needed to be. So, as an example, introverts a lot of the times feel like sales isn't for them. The reality is, introverts sometimes they're best equipped for sales. They're empathetic listeners, right? That puts them in a position to ask really great questions. And so sometimes an extrovert, when they're talking, right? The reality is, like, a lot of sales is persuasion, and you don't persuade someone when you're talking. Someone is persuaded in their mind. So those sorts of things require you to look inward and understand who you are first. What is your selling approach? Then, in my opinion, only then can you take a seller centric approach where I'm sorry, a buyer centric approach where you start to put yourself in the shoes of the customer and understand what they're doing and what they need. But yeah, understanding what kind of seller you are is really crucial to being a successful one.
What are the different types of sellers? If somebody's like, "Well, Blake, what do you mean what kind of seller am I?" What are the different types of sellers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes back to personality and the way you approach a sale. So I myself personally I try and be an empathetic seller. I try and be a storytelling seller, understanding like the customer is in the middle of a journey, right? And I want to be able to help them navigate that journey with clarity. Sometimes they feel like they might get stuck, and we view that as an objection or indecision. But the reality is they're just stuck, and we need to help expand their perspective. That's me. Another seller might be a little bit more, I won't say heavy handed because that has negative connotations, but they might take charge of that process a little bit more quickly. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. What's wrong with that is that's who you're trying to be, and it's not necessarily who you are. That's not within your strengths, your personality, or even your skill set. Trying to think of other ways that people sell. There's a lot of different personality types. It makes me think about Myers Briggs assessments. So like I'm an ENTP, or I'm sorry, ENFP. I just recently changed. I've become more of a feeler, if you know that. And so that's why I take that more empathetic approach. Some people are more analytical than others, so they might approach things from a more numbers driven perspective. Other people, they might be more organized in terms of these are the steps of the sales process that I want to walk you through. Whereas I'm someone who's a little bit less structured. I don't want you to necessarily move on my timeline. I feel like I can get somewhere more quickly if I understand what your timeline is. Um, just really comes back down to personality type and how that personality type manifests in the selling approach.
Yes. And understanding how your selling type can interact with the buyer on the other end because you have different buying personalities as well. So be mindful of the people that you're working with as well as your own personality because, y'all, there can't be two leaders. Okay. Like somebody's got to lead, you got to do a dance. It's a back and forth. It's not like you can't butt heads. So I think that sellers, yes, like we have to have a high EQ, but we also have to be a little bit of these shapeshifter kind of people who
Mhm.
we can mold and we can be malleable and we can work with you in multiple ways. Trevor says that he thinks being dog walked comes from fear. You agree with that?
I do. Yeah, there's this fear of, very practical ones, like I need to take commission so I can hit my, I need to quota so I get my commission. There's some little bit more ones tangential to the role, like I need to get this deal across a certain finish line that move my pipeline forward. Like there's all these different things we're afraid of. And what's interesting is that fear manifests itself in really unproductive salesmanship. And so you put
Yeah.
yourself in a difficult situation because you're motivated by that fear, and you don't present yourself honestly when that happens. You're presenting a version of yourself.
And honesty is always best, y'all, in the long term game. Like you might be able to close the deal right now with this version of yourself, but being who you are in all aspects will make you a better seller at the end of the day, in my opinion. Peter agrees. Discovery Plus profile is a good way to learn who you are, or Disc Plus, I don't know. And professionally, that includes what is being shared by Lauren and Blake. There's a
Mhm,
lot of those. I didn't do Myers.
mhm,
Well, I did Myers Briggs a long time ago, but there's a different one on my it's featured on my page, y'all. I don't even know
mhm.
what it is anymore. But I've done those and I do know what you mean. I think they're pretty accurate. And I see all y'all commenting Sendoso. Yes, we got some golfers in the house. Liz, do you golf? Yes or no? Meredith, you're new to golf, but longtime Sendoso fan. Blake, you need to go comment Sendoso. Blake golfs. But where's the best place you've ever golfed, Blake?
Coolest place I've ever golfed. There is a course in Wisconsin. It's called Whistling Straits, and every now and then they host like U.S. Opens. The Ryder Cup was there a few years ago, and I lost a lot of balls at Whistling Straits. So
I lose a lot of balls no matter where I golf. I'm not great at it. Liz, I don't know. Blake, are we gonna let mini golf count? Do we think mini golf counts?
you don't really need tees for mini golf, and mini golf is like its own separate sport. It's like the difference between baseball and kickball. It's like they're similar, but they're
Oh,
very
I like
different.
this option. I can watch you golf and drink champagne. You can drive the golf cart. Well, I don't know if you can drive the golf cart if you're drinking champagne. Whatever. You can ride and drink champagne and I will golf. That works. Liz lives by me, so we could probably actually do this if she wins the
I've
teas.
never thought to combine those 2, but I think I'd love a nice red. I'm a big Cabernet fan, so I do a cab and like, yeah.
It's
s
kind of
but
hot in Florida. I don't think I'd drink wine on the golf course.
I'm in LA, so the weather's perfect. Sorry. Shout
For
out to
you.
LA. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it in Florida. That's not where I wanna be golfing.
Listen, it's beautiful. I'm by the beach. There's some gorgeous courses, but y'all, it's hot. And that's why it's so cheap to golf in Florida right now. Um, all right, dude, we're already halfway through the show. Can you believe it?
I can.
Halfway. Okay,
I'm putting it in.
so we got a few things coming up, just so you all know. Oh, look, Aaron, look, this is all his. That you should see what Lavender says about how to approach me. I don't even want to know, Aaron. I don't even want to know. Oh, Blake started breaking 90. I don't break 90 often. Red sangria. Oh, there you go. Drink red sangria on the golf course. Good call, Liz. And I will drive the cart and carry your golf bag. Andrew, you're in Canada. How's that gonna happen? I'm in Florida. All right, maybe one day in the future. Okay, y'all, distracting me. We gotta get into the half. Comment Sendoso to win. If you have not, we're going to give away these awesome teas. Hold on, I'll show you a picture really quick. Somewhere it's here. See, Blake, I told you. There you go. You'll win this tea bag of these Sunday golf teas, courtesy of Sendoso. Blake, I'm gonna let you go take a short break. See you back here in just a minute. Y'all, it is almost time for High Five Friday. Who are we going to shout out today? Who are we going to celebrate? And then when we get back, I got Blake to agree to play Two Truths and a Lie. I know you guys like this one. So, welcome, Miss Michelle Craig, in, I don't know what, like 20 seconds. See you soon.
What is up, everyone? We are back with another High Five Friday. No special guests for you today, but did want to kind of celebrate my win of got to spend almost 2 weeks with my mom in town. So lots of good family time. Got to show her my favorite spots for a Red Bull vodka around Austin, her favorite thing for me to drink. It's not, but anyways, that's kind of my win of the last couple of weeks. Had some really good quality time. Now let's get in and celebrate y'all's. First up, we have Ashley Early for Roland Logan, who's been busting her butt to build her business and still makes time to help people like me who are hopeless when it comes to design and branding. Ashley, I am in the same boat with you. I'll give my shout out next week though. And then next up, we have Leslie Greenwood from Meredith Chandler for launching her consultancy and for being a general badass sales leader. Lauren wants to give a shout out to Kevin. Kevin has been crushing his new role at Maintain X. Kevin, keep it up. You're inspiring so many. Congrats. And then just kind of wanted to give a plug for High Five Friday. Well, next Friday is the last Friday of the month, and we would love if we could break a record. Lauren, I don't know if you know the count. I'm not sure off the top of my head what the most high fives we've done in one Friday is. But if you haven't seen this, you can shout out yourself. You can give a high five to someone in your network. It doesn't even have to be super formal. There's a form that I'll drop right after this segment. And to celebrate your wins next week.
Yeah, I think we've had 7 or 8 was the high number, but I'll go look, and maybe we'll do a giveaway for some Grove cookies next week. Somebody tag Grove cookies. I'm sure Grayson will be down for that, and we'll give out some Grove cookies next week. Anybody who gets a high five or gives a high five will enter you for that. But thanks, Michelle. High five. I always try to go the right way. I went the right way this
time. There
time.
we go. Wait, almost. We'll nail it by I don't know, December. Bye, y'all. Happy Friday.
Bye, Michelle. All right, y'all. Are you here? Are you awake? Are you asleep? What's going on? We are going to bring Blake back in 1 second to play Two Truths and a Lie. And then we're going to talk about how to leverage storytelling and interviews in your sales process and the importance of questions and how to build your very own questions bank. Let's see if Blake's with us. What's up?
What's up, everybody? I'm still here.
What's up? We got a congrats to Meredith from Blake. Meredith said, "Oh, wow, it's me." Yes, it's you, Meredith. Congratulations. You are a badass, and you got shout out on the show. Everybody give Meredith a high five. Liz got a high five last week. Whoop, whoop. Liz got the Women of the Channel. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a very big deal. She was nominated for the women's list of Women of the Channel for 2024. And happy Friday, Aaron, to Michelle. We love Aaron. Aaron's a big supporter of the show. Right back at you. And y'all, Sendoso, we got more people commenting. I love it because I want y'all to win. If you comment Sendoso and you win the teas, we want to see a video of you in a tea box using the teas. Whoever wins, I want to see it. I want some content from you because LinkedIn is turning into a video site. Didn't we talk about that? Did we talk about that? That's one of the reasons I'm pushing Blake to do some more video.
Everyone's pushing me to do that, by the way. I do video, and everyone's always like, "Do more video." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what I said though. You heard me. I said do more video. We know you do video, which is why we want more video.
Yeah. If anybody wants to see my golf swing, I'm trying to share a post here where I did a video.
I have a video of my golf swing too. If we get to I don't know, 100 comments on this episode, I will drop a post with my golf swing because it's kind of embarrassing. Y'all, I golf. I never said I was great at it, but I do golf. What's a tee box? Yeah, Liz, you need to just stick to mini golf. I don't think you can even drive the golf cart.
So, Liz, when you play mini golf, you hit the ball for the first time, right? Well, in golf, that's called a tee box. That's all it is. It's just where you tee off. You start your round.
And you don't start there with the putter ever.
No, you get more than a putter. That is one thing you will have.
Liz, I got an extra set of ladies club, so we can go. I'm scared, but we can go. All right. 2 truths and a lie. Are you ready? Are you ready, Blake?
I'm ready.
Okay. We're gonna let you go first, okay? Y'all, we're gonna do find Blake's lie. And first person to find the lie. What are we gonna do? What should we do for the person who finds the lie? I always give out cookies. Y'all want cookies? You will get to pick your own prize for the person who picks the lie. I'm gonna give you a budget, but I'll let you pick your own prize. And you don't have to pick cookies if you want the cookies, I'll send you the Grove cookies. But you can pick your own prize, the first person to find the lie. How's that? Sound good? All right. You want to read it out loud or you want me to read it?
You can read it.
Okay. Find the lie. Number 1. Blake ran for state senate at 24 years old. At 24, I was definitely not running for state senate. If that is true, that's insane. Number 2. Blake has met 2 billionaires. Y'all, billion with a B. I'm trying to think. I live in Boca. I'm sure I have, but I probably didn't even know it. And then number 3. Blake has traveled to 4 continents. Is the lie number 1, number 2, or number 3? Aaron, I love you to death, but C doesn't count. It's number 1, number 2, or number 3. Andrew says number 2. Liz says number 3. Aaron says number 3. Peter says, okay, so we've had everything guessed. So Blake, please let us know. Did you run for state senate at 24?
I was a weird 24-year-old. Yes, I did. Fun fact. So 8 years before President Obama was the president, he was an Illinois state senator. That was the position I was running for. Not in the same district because, I just I didn't live there. But yeah, that's the level of position I ran for.
That's so cool. Okay. Have you met 2 billionaires?
I have. In fact, I actually work for one right now. I work for the former CEO of Uber. And yeah. And then the other one was it was like a political event. The billionaire hosted a private dinner. I was invited. Oh, it was so cool. But yeah,
That's
2
probably
billionaires.
the best
There
dinner
might be a third
ever.
billionaire. I feel like I'm forgetting a third one somewhere, but that's.
Two
Oh yeah, no, there has been a third one. That's what I meant, dude. There's a third one. The former governor of Illinois, Bruce Rauner. I had dinner with him, got to meet him. So 3 billionaires. That's a lie. Number 2 is I didn't think about it, but it's kind of a lie.
I mean,
It's
but
true.
it's true.
It's true.
So number 3 is actually the lie, correct?
Yeah, I've never left the country, so I got some traveling to do.
So Liz is the first person that I see on my feed who says number 3. So congratulations, Liz. You will get to pick your own prize for Find the Lie. All right, y'all, we are going to do mine. Are you ready? We'll do the same thing. I'll give you both the same budget. Whoever wins this one. On your mark, get set. And Aaron, it's numbers, not letters. I want you to have a chance. Okay, on your mark, get set. Let's go. Find the lie. Number 1. Lauren won the Pee Wee champion in barrel racing. Number 2. Lauren has 2 sisters and 1 brother. Or number 3. Lauren was on the high school bowling team. Which one is true? Which one is the lie? Do you want to know any stories about these? These all seem a little bit insane to me other than the normal one. Oh, he put a number sign. What does that mean, Aaron? 2, 1.
Aaron's trolling us. He put an X for mine, put a hashtag for yours.
We got all the Aarons here. Aaron number 2, Aaron number 3. Okay, so I think you've all answered out. You've all guessed everyone. So number 1, I really did win the Pee Wee champion barrel racing championship in Florida, in the state of Florida when I was a kid. And I have belt buckle to prove it and a jacket. I actually wore the jacket the other day, y'all. They must have given me the biggest jacket ever because, Pee Wees are like itty bitty kids. That thing still fits me. I still have it. It says 1990, whatever. We're not going to talk about it on the jacket. But I have the belt buckle and the jacket still, so that is true. Number 2, I do have 2 sisters, but y'all, I don't have a brother. Absolutely not. So the first person that I saw for number 2 is Liz. So Liz, you won twice. You won both. We're gonna force you to gift one to someone else. We're gonna make you send one and keep one, and you got to film some content too. And then number 3, I was on the bowling team, y'all. I was not good at bowling. I didn't tell anybody I was on the bowling team. I did it really to get out of school and to get free cheese fries because the teacher would buy us cheese fries. One time I had a freak really good game and it ended up in the paper, and my grandma called me, and that's how people found out I was on the bowling team. That's because I was in the paper for bowling. God, craziest things ever. Okay, I know exactly who who do you owe a gift to? Tag them. Let us know. A lot of you got this right. You're right, Tom. You're right, Aaron. I don't have a brother. I wish I had a brother some days, but nope, that would not be good for me. Okay, we only got 20 more minutes. We got 2 more topics, and we got the Fun Friday fact. Y'all, we got a lot more to cover. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Wait, yeah, I'm totally ready.
Are you frozen? Are you ready? We're here. We're going to go. Okay. Topic number 3 today. This is important. We're going to talk about interviews and sales, right? Because people going through both. And y'all, I don't care what you do. Everything in life is sales. So even if you're not a seller, listen up because it's going to apply to you. But let's talk about how to leverage storytelling. So everybody talks about you got to be a good storyteller. You need to be vulnerable. Da da da. Blake, what does it mean, and how do you use storytelling as a strength?
Yeah. And again, I created a course on this, so feel free to share that link again if you want, Lauren. In my course, I created 5 modules. This was the enablement side of me coming out. And there's 5 different things that I would encourage someone to do when it comes to leveraging story selling. The first thing is reframing interviews, just understanding that they have a problem and you are the solution. A lot of times people show up to interviews and they just think, I'm so just grateful to be here. I've been trying so hard to get to this place, without realizing, take it from someone who's interviewed hundreds of people, that we're trying to find the right person. It requires time, effort, money, all sorts of resources to find one right person. And so you have power when you show up in that room. You're not just some throwaway candidate that they can toss around. Like, you are a valuable asset. Even if you don't get the job, you still are someone they have to consider after interviewing you. So reframe interviews. The second thing in the second module in the course is persuasive storytelling. So I took something from Aristotle's Rhetorical Appeals. This is ancient wisdom, so it worked back then, it works today. You want to appeal to 3 different things when you're trying to be a persuasive storyteller. You want to appeal to credibility. So that's who I am. That's my character. You want to appeal to logic. That's reason. That's things making sense and order. And the one that people forget about is you want to appeal to emotion. That's the heartstrings. That's the feeling. And so with your story, a story has 3 elements. It has a character, has conflict, and it has transformation. All of our lives have those things present in them. And so understanding, we want that to flow. We want to present ourselves in a way that's credible, but we also want to understand that the highs matter just as much as the lows matter too, and don't run away from them. Third module in the course is crafting your story. So what I help people do is take these parts of their story, the good, the bad, the ugly, and weave them together to form a story for them. And then we turn that into a message. So my story might be, I ran for state senate at 24. That's cool. It's a story. But how does that help me get a job? The message is, sorry about that. I got to drink water. It's my reminder to drink water. 1 second. The message of that is, I know how to present myself and I know how to present ideas in a way that's compelling and will resonate with an audience. That's the subtle difference between a story and a message. And so we talk about that in module 4, how to sell your story, how to present it in a way that's compelling. I talk about some tactics that I learned from politics, things like bridging. When you get a question and answer that, but then you pivot and answer a second thing that maybe wasn't asked, the question you wished you were asked, that's how you make sure you get your message across in an interview without even necessarily getting the answers, without even necessarily getting the questions that you wanted. And then the last thing is building an interview cheat sheet. So when you go into an interview, a lot of times people prep by researching the company, the product, the person interviewing them, the customer. And the reality is like you're selling you. So you need to do the research on yourself. I can't tell you how many times people stumble over questions like, what's a weakness? Tell me about a weakness of yours. Or even simple stuff like, what do you do for fun outside of work? Like people forget. They'll be like, oh, fun? I didn't know we were going to talk about fun. Yeah. So they get stumped on simple things because they didn't take the time to research themselves. And the interview cheat sheet I created, which is free, and you can find that on my LinkedIn too, that helps you organize your brain, organize your message, and organize your presentation in an interview. So that's big picture, how to leverage storytelling in your interview. And that's my story selling framework.
I love it. Five parts. I just tagged Blake in the comments. You can go right to his page, click on his page. You can find it in his featured section. We'll repost the link again. Y'all, I also posted the link with his golf swing. Go take a look. Sorry, it took me a minute, but I got there. Okay. In terms of leveraging storytelling, right? And you talked a little bit about in an interview when people ask about like fun and outside of work and the things that we don't prep for ourselves. I want to talk about like if somebody says, what's a weakness, right? You brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
You can use storytelling to be vulnerable, right? But how do you make sure that when you're talking about a weakness and you're using storytelling that you frame it as a positive at the end of the interview? And what do you think is like the biggest mistake that you see people making when they're trying to incorporate storytelling, but they're not really succeeding?
The biggest mistake is that the weakness is not relevant to the role. And then in terms of answering the question in a compelling way, it goes back to what I just said about a story having three parts. You have a character, you have conflict, you have transformation. This weakness question is really about self-awareness. Are you self-aware and what do you do about it? And so I might share a weakness such as sometimes because of my ADHD, I can lose focus and try and pursue two different goals, maybe three different goals at once. That's a weakness. That's a character. I'm describing who I am. The conflict then is me trying to navigate these different goals. Okay, then what do I do to fix that conflict? I put a sticky note on my desk each day with my goal for that day. It's literally top of mind, top of desk. I can't forget it. So I've shown you that I'm self-aware enough to understand my weakness. I've shown you what I do about it. And I become this transformed individual because I'm trying to take measured steps to fix it. That's what you want to do when you're answering that question. Who are you? What's a relevant weakness to the job? What are you doing about it? That's
and y'all, the example that Blake just gave was one, perfect. And two, it doesn't have to be this crazy elaborate. I'm taking 8 courses and I spent $100,000. Like, y'all, he puts a damn sticky note on his desk and it's top of mind, top of desk. Like, how simple is that? But it's a great way to answer that question. It is probably a legitimate thing he's doing. It doesn't sound like you made up some rehearsed answer for an interview. And it's actually something that somebody else might be able to incorporate. And maybe you don't get up before you get your first sticky note done, right? Maybe you have 3 sticky notes of what you need to do today. And that's what you say. I'm not going to leave my desk until I pull one of these sticky notes off my desk. And maybe you incorporate it and make it your own habit. But it doesn't have to be this crazy answer or elaborate weakness. It does, like, some of y'all complicate it too much too. A simple answer is an okay answer in an interview.
That's, again, going back to the very first topic we talked about, identity. A lot of people feel like they're not good enough, so they have to add something on top of that. And the reality is, it's like you want to take less. Yeah, like take less of that self, that sense of self, and trust that that self is good enough. It's a good enough answer. It's good enough for the role. You don't have to layer these nuanced things on top of yourself. That's just going to overwhelm you and make you freeze.
I tell people that all the time. Like, your answer is probably good enough. And if you feel like you've answered the question, you can stop talking, because a lot of times also I get candidates who to tell too much, right? You answered the question and they don't understand Blake's framework of bridging. and they just keep going. And at some point, it turns into almost like this word vomit, and you've said too much, and you're revealing almost too much information, and you haven't stayed on track, and you're not answering the question at all. And we go off sometimes on little tangents when we're not confident about what we're talking about, right? So you can choose confidence. One, back to the beginning. We're going to circle all of this back around. You can choose confidence, but it comes across too in that aspect of your storytelling and in the interview process. Dude, we have one more whole topic. We only have 9 minutes left. We got to move on.
I'll go
Sorry.
quick.
I'm going to rush us. Okay. The importance of questions. Y'all, do you ask questions at the end of an interview? Let me know. The importance of questions and how to build your very own questions bank. So, Blake, what is Blake? Haha, Blake, what is a questions bank? What do you mean?
So there's a lot of different things you can think about when it comes to building your questions bank. What I mean by this is having a repository of questions you can come back to when you're struggling or you're selling or you're presenting yourself in a job interview. And I'm trying to write them down real quickly because I got stumped on one of them, but there's different types of questions you can ask. You can ask open or close-ended questions, and you can ask questions that are them-centric or you-centric. And you can ask questions that are positive-oriented or negative-oriented. And ultimately, as you start to play around with that matrix, maybe I'll ask a positive, open-ended question about them. That might be, hey, Lauren, tell me, why did you decide to start this show? Right? I could ask a positive or negative, open-ended question, Lauren. I'd say, hey, tell me about some of the difficult experiences you faced in running this show. Right? Sometimes close-ended questions are good because they help move a deal forward. Right? Is this something that you want to move forward with? That's a simple yes or no. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? You don't have to overcomplicate it. So I try and think about these different elements of a question that you can ask that will allow you to build your questions bank. I'm a firm believer that questions are the most powerful tool a seller has. The quality of answers you receive in life and in sales is directly proportional to the quality of question that you ask. For example, you can meet the wisest person in the world. If the only question you could think to ask them is, hey, what color is the grass? All they can give you is green. And you've wasted time. You've missed an opportunity. So be really mindful of the questions that you ask, both in your professional life and also in your personal life. Questions you ask yourself. And you'll see that it takes you a long way when you start asking the right question.
How do you coach people on asking better questions, right? Like, I hear you. We need to ask better questions. But say I don't have the best sales leader, or I don't have somebody who's super involved to help me go through this. How do I figure out how to ask myself better questions or how to ask my prospects better questions?
I try and go a layer deeper, like one layer deeper at a time. So really asking them, what are you trying to get at? Let's just take an example that job seekers might use. Can you tell me about the role? Right? Okay, but Lauren, say you asked that question. What are you really getting at? Why do you want to know about the role? I'm asking you, Lauren. Why would a job seeker want to know about the role?
Because it's your future, right? One, oh, thumbs up. I wish it did it for me. It doesn't do it for me. When you want to know about the role, there's so many things. Most people want to know compensation. They want to know if it would work for their family. They want to know if it's going to be fulfilling for them. They want to know if it's going to be challenging. They want to know if there's going to be growth. They want to know if it's going to align with their values. There's a million reasons you'd want to know about the role, right?
Okay. So that's the first layer. And to your point, there's a lot of different questions that can come from that. Can you tell me about the role? So vague, so broad. But let's talk a little bit more about the day-to-day, right? Can you tell me a little bit about what the day-to-day looks like? Okay, why do you want to know that?
Well, for me personally, I'd probably want to know the day-to-day because I need a very flexible schedule because I have a young son. So it's very important to me that the next role that I step into is flexible, and I want to get that out of the way first conversation because I don't want to waste your time or mine.
Right. And so for you and what we just built, your question now becomes, can you tell me a little bit about the flexibility of the role and what that looks like for your employees? Yep. That's a much different question than, can you tell me about the role? The example I always use is that people want to understand, what does the day-to-day look like? because they want to be good at it. They want to have a head start. And so the question I help them develop is something I call a non-factual hypothetical. So it doesn't exist and it's a hypothetical. And what it sounds like is this. Hey, Lauren, can you do me a favor? Just imagine me in the role, and a month from now, I'm sorry, 6 months from now, I'm crushing it. I'm even leading the team. What would I have done to get there? That's a nuanced, layered question. And a lot of different things happen when I ask that question. One, they have to think about me in the role. Then they have to think about me succeeding in the role. Then they have to think about, what do my top reps not doing? Then they literally give me the answers to the test. And then from there, you can spend the rest of the interview talking about, oh, okay, well, I've done this in my previous role. I do that for fun on the side. And it's so interesting you mentioned this third thing. That's something I've been trying to pursue and develop in my career. And so when you ask the right question, it changes and dictates the whole flow of the conversation. And now I've been able to get my message across and convince and share in a compelling fashion who I am and why I'm a good fit for the role. All because I went 1, 2, 3 layers deep. Hey, can you tell me about the day-to-day of the role? Hey, can you tell me what your top reps are doing? Hey, can you imagine me in the role 6 months from now? I'm leading the team. What would I have done to get there? We just went layers deep.
And Andrew, me too, dude. I love the way Blake frames it. Which is why I had to have him on today so that he could tell us all the things. And y'all, please, please, please go check out all of the courses, the interview cheat sheet, all the stuff. Blake made that so that you could level up. The whole point of the show is that you learn something so that your boss lets you come back next week and watch again. I don't know who you are, but that is a great question. How do you see me fitting in with the team? Preach. Yes. Yes. It's my last name is Sermon. There is a preacher, I'm just kidding. We do not want to come off as an interrogator. No, we do not. And yes, ask the questions, do all of those things, clarify questions. But like Blake said, ask questions that provide value and they're a little bit deeper. Use the answers you get to sell yourself. All right, y'all. Got 2 minutes left. I just got to wrap it. Blake's going to have to come back. We're going to have to talk again.
Oh, we're not going to do our fun fact?
Oh, no, we're going to do it.
Okay.
I got to wrap the topics so that we can do the
Okay.
fun fact and the giveaway because we still got a lot of stuff.
Got you.
So last chance, if you want to comment Sendoso to win the prize, you do have to ship this to somebody in the continental United States. You will win some Sunday golf tees. I want to see a video of you golfing if you win these. So comment Sendoso. It is time. Right before we do that, we are going to do my favorite part of the show. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is time for the fun Friday fact. So Blake, give us your fun Friday fact.
So I've already talked about my political journey. But what people don't know is that I've always been an orator. I gave my first speech when I was 5 years old. And that is my fun fact. And actually a fun fact and a half. I gave the commencement address when I graduated with my master's degree. And that was in front of 7,000 people. So, yeah, I give speeches.
So many people.
Yeah. I loved every second of it. It was great. I had a really cool story to tell, and I told it, and people loved it.
That's awesome. Okay, so when you were 5, what was your very first speech about ever?
Well, when you're 5, you don't know that much. You don't have context for much. So I was just starting kindergarten, and my speech was, "Have you checked your spiritual report card?" It was in church. So
I love it.
I was so nervous. I was super nervous about that. In fact, I cried. I didn't want to go. So I made my mom come up there and stand next to me. It was adorable. It was a whole thing. I'm sure it's on camera somewhere.
Oh, we're going to get a video of that one day, y'all. I can't wait. Blake, this was so much fun. Let's do the giveaway really quick. If you entered to win, this is when y'all all know that I do this myself because I got to click through this. Can you see my screen? Yes, you can. 8 of you entered to win. Let's go. Who's it going to be? Blake's in there too. Maybe we'll get a new video of Blake golfing. Meredith, Liz, Aaron.
Oh!
Y'all, amazing. Never happens like that. I love it.
This is amazing.
Blake won some golf tees. See, you probably got some cookies, right? You got cookies, and now you got. Did you get cookies? You should got cookies.
I don't know if I got cookies yet, but feel free to send some more. I'm a
Okay.
golfer, so like I'm nerding
Work
out
it out.
about this. I actually will use these teas. This is great, and I will send a video. Happily send a video.
There we go, Sendoso. We're gonna gift some teas to Blake. We're gonna Sendoso him some fun Sunday golf teas. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Blake, any final words for the people?
Choose confidence today. Confidence is a choice that you can make. It's not a trait that you're born with. Understand that confidence won't always look pretty, and you won't always feel confident, but you can choose it anyway.
You can choose it anyway. I love it. Such a good message. Y'all better come back and watch the replay. Blake, this was fun. I hope you all have the best Memorial Day weekend. Be safe out there if you were doing anything crazy. Peace out. If you didn't enjoy it, don't come back. Bye.